Halloween
Forever.
Oh boy, Steve, this movie was a challenge for me. I don't know if it was. Do you find it challenging?
Not terribly, no.
No. I have this phobia of hair. I dreadlocks.
Yeah.
Welcome, boys and ghouls, to a very hairy Minisode of Halloween is Forever. I'm Brian.
I'm Steve.
It is hair joke time. Pew pew, guys. If you didn't check that title of the old podcast you're listening to, first of all, it's called Halloween is Forever. Welcome, ghouls and boils and ghouls out there. But we are watching a fucking weird ass movie I stumbled across, and I decided to, not to be too unkind to Steve and our Patreon listeners out there, who I just whooped their ass handily, and I don't mind saying it. You know what? I'm done. Gloves are off, guys. It's a beginning. Spooky season is starting to creep up here, and the gloves are motherfucking off. I'm going for it, guys. I said last week, or maybe it was the week before, this Halloween season, this spooky season, Big Bry's going full heel turn. All right, I'm going full heel turn on you motherfuckers. We're going at it. I was going to do like a gross out movie, and then this was intended to be a gross out movie. It's not that gross unless you have a hair thing. Like, I have a friend who, like, if she sees like a clump of hair in like the shower, she's like, ugh. Like, this would be for that person an absolute worst nightmare. But I don't have that, so I didn't find it too disturbing, Steve. It sounds like you didn't either.
No, I have hair that's down to my shoulders as well as a giant beard. I don't think I'm bothered by hair, Brian.
No, you're a hairy man. You're a hairy man. I don't have that phobia, but I know some people do, and at least some people out there I hope to do some sort of emotional damage to, in the case where they might accidentally watch this movie, or maybe their Amazon listening device hears me talking about it and it comes up and they accidentally play it on their Tubies or whatever. But actually, this wasn't even on Tubi. I found this on the old YouTubes. This one's been sitting around on my punishment movie list for a while. I finally got around to watch it. So you know what? Let's watch this son of a bitch. It's from 2007. It's called, I believe, Exte: hair extensions. Guys, it's about killer hair extensions. Spoiler alert. It's about fucking killer hair extensions. We were texting the other night, Steve. I told you I've been into some kooky J horror lately. Mm-hmm. This has been kind of my jam. I watched a movie called Egg from I think 2005. Are you familiar with this movie?
That sounds familiar, but I don't think I've seen it in full. But it sounds familiar.
Yeah. It's about a lady, and she keeps thinking about an egg, and there's an egg in her brain or something, and then she's freaking everybody out, and then it hatches, and it's like a big ass fucking I don't know, cockroach potato bug kind of thing. It's fucking wild.
I see. I don't think I've seen that one, but it sounds familiar because back in the old days, the days of physical media, I used to buy a lot of J horror at like comic conventions because there was a lot of bootleg DVDs. And then I don't know if it was just like who was ripping the DVDs or if they were actually from the original pressing or whatever. But there was always like a lot of trailers for a lot of other goof ass like J horror on the J horror DVDs. And so like I kind of remember that one. There's also that other one that it's a sci-fi comedy, and I think it's something called The Forest or something that.
Yeah. I was looking for this. Actually, I was about to say it. I have it on my watch list here because I was trying to find it. Here it is. It is called Death Forest: Forbidden Forest. And it's like the big ass head.
Yeah.
The with the mouth. I was trying to find it. I cannot find the full movie. I haven't looked super hard, but on the YouTubes and things like that, I'm sure you could find torrent, stream it somewhere. But I have not been able to find it. But I'm looking to watch that one because that looks kooky as hell.
Yeah. So there's a lot of ones I've seen parts of, because of that. But yeah, I haven't seen that one. The one about the egg. Yeah,
it's just called Egg. I watched this one called Death Powder from like 86. That was pretty fun. I watched one. What was it called? It was like it was a weird name, but it was about a woman who she gets like cut in half by a train and her upper torso is crawling around killing people. Just the top half of her torso. It's pretty sick. So I've been going down a real rabbit hole of wacky ass J horror movies here, and finally got around to watching Godzilla -1, which is not nearly. It's more of obviously mainstream, but that was a fucking treat. Treat.
Isn't it?
Oh, it was good. It was good.
Did you watch the color version or the minus color?
I watched the color version. The color version because that was what was on the streaming. I probably could have found the other one. It feels like it probably would have been actually until you just said that the black and white version I completely forgot was out there. I think you'd mentioned it. Kind of wish I would have watched that one, but what are you going to do? Hey, if anybody has a line on that Death Forest Forbidden Forest from 2014, hook a brother up because I've been trying to find that and it looks kooky as shit. But that's not what I picked. I picked motherfucking hair extensions, guys. So we're going to get into that movie here in a second. We're going to see how everybody felt about it. And we're going to make sure that these insolent fucks know who's boss as we go into spooky season. By the way, guys, it is almost here. It is my birthday. The day this records, or the day this releases, my birthday will be the very next day. And I am, that's when I kick off spooky season in my head. For faithful listeners out there will know that's when fucking spooky season kicks off in my house. So, boy, I already had me a little Reese's pumpkin. I've been on the lookout for some of them monster cereals. Have not found any yet. If anybody finds them in the greater Pittsburgh area, give your boy a shout because I'm on the look for those as well. But it's right around the corner. Yep. So, like I said, full heel turn in motion, and we're ready to kick this shit off. See, you getting a little spooky ooky? Have you partaked?
I haven't partaken in anything yet, but I did see when I did beer shops last weekend. I did see the Elysian pumpkin pack was out. So it had the Punkachino and then whatever the wolf one is, and then I don't know. I don't drink Elysian aside from the Punkachino, but I saw that's out. It's out there. They're out there.
I haven't had the pumpkin beers yet, but I did have me a pumpkin coffee too. Just a regular old 7-Eleven coffee. Driving on the turnpike, stop, got myself a little pumpkin coffee, a little creamer in there, a little salted caramel creamer in with the pumpkin. If I'd have had a scarf, I'd have put it on right over top of it. I don't give a shit. We got some things we got to do here before we talk about this sons of bitchin' movie, you guys. First and foremost, if you want to help us out by providing some suggestions to us for maybe for next time when there's a punishment episode, or perhaps you've got suggestions for the spinny wheel, which we're about to spin here in a some bitchin' second, you can get a hold of us over on the social media, slide in those old DMs. That's more of a sucking sound than a sliding sound, but go on over there, check it out at Halloween is Forever on Instagram, at Hallow Forever on the X, or you can send us one of the fucking old-fashioned emails, halloweenisforeverpod@gmail.com. Also, pretty soon, we're almost halfway through the son of a bitchin' month, we are going to be releasing another episode of our Patreon exclusive podcast. It is called I almost said Family is Forever. It's forever, etched onto the surface of my brain. Youth Group is Forever, wherein I make Steve watch a bunch of fucking bizarre Christian right-wing propaganda horror movies and torture him because he made me watch all the Fast and the Furious movies, which you can go back and listen to all those special episodes on. Steve, besides that extra exclusive podcast on the Patreon, what do the boys and ghouls get if they support us with paper monies on the Patreon?
Yeah, you get on that Patreon, and then you also get reviews and recos every month. You get to have extra votes in polling, and you get to get on the Discord, and you get in the chat, and you can chat with us as the show goes on. Right now, we're talking to people about cucumber lunch, because we all had some sort of cucumber lunch. For some reason,
we did have cucumber lunch, guys. We have a little bit of a secret society over here. We call it cucumber lunch. If you want to get involved with share all the cucumber recipes over here before the podcast starts, join us on the Discord. But in order to do that, you got to sign up on the Patreon. So all the best cuke recipes. All right, Steve, do you want to talk beers? Or you want to spin that fucking wheel first?
I would like to talk beers.
All right.
I would
Why don't
like
you
to
tell
talk.
me what you drinking on?
Well, Brian, you said it's your birthday coming up, and in honor of you, I decided I was going to drink something not complete bullshit, so you wouldn't be, I wanted to honor you with not bullshit. Is basically what this is.
It's the nicest thing anybody's ever said or done for me.
Yeah. So I wanted to do that for you for your birthday, since you'll be out of town. But I picked up from Creekside. They got a new shipment of Von Trapp in.
Okay.
And this is the Von Trapp Smoked Helles.
Nice. I saw people, or actually I saw Creekside post about it on the Instagram. Am I crazy or did that look a little cloudy or is it just your weird background?
That's just my shitty background.
Oh, okay.
Because
Gotcha.
I had to put my hand behind the glass to get it to show up on the dumb camera and the shitty background. Because I refuse to pay for Discord Nitro.
How is that beer? I typically am a big fan of Von Trapp.
It's really good. Like on the nose, there's not much smoke to it. It smells more just kind of like a regular Helles. But like when you taste it, I would put it as more smoky than the Schlenkerla Helles that comes in the can.
Okay.
It's more smoky than that, but it's still less smoky than the regular Schlenkerla like Urbach and Marzen offerings. Yeah. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I'm always a fan of their
it's really fucking good.
Yeah, that's been on my list here the last couple weeks to get over there because I did see them post about that on the Instagram. So I got to get that for us home. Sorry, I'm just slapping my lips around over here because this has become a little bit of a go-to for me. I enjoy this very much. And it doesn't have to be this beer, but hashtag EMP, I get this beer for free. So this is the one I'm using. But I'm drinking on the Blue Moon Mango Wheat. Okay. But any mango beer.
Uh-huh.
And you just get a little of this,
tahini.
Get a little of this business, get a little tahini, and kind of rim the can or the glass with tahini with a mango beer. Oh, that's fucking yummy in the summertime, guys. I know it's almost spooky season, but you know what? We got a little bit of summer left. And I'm going to sit here and drink me some mango wheat beer. I just keep hitting it with the tahini. Bang, 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 bang. Just take a few sips, get more tahini. My tongue will just be raw by the end. So, this has been kind of a bit of a go-to for me this summer.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
Summer drinking tips for as the summer dies. As we bid farewell to summer in its final terminal days, we'll really start to get into the summer season. You know what? For moving into spooky season, though, what our listeners can do is take that same idea and adopt it to cinnamon sugar and pumpkin beers in cans. Just do the same exact thing. Do it. You know what? Put fucking tahini on your pumpkin beer. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean?
Spicy. You do you. I'm not going to yuck your yum. Get after it, guys. We're going whole hog into this fucking pumpkin beer season here. Getting after it in a big way. Yeah. All right. Like we said, we solicit potential showdown episode topics from not only ourselves, but our social media friends and listeners as well. You may know that we have some sticky, icky, sweet content every son of a bitchin' Monday on the interwebs. But the first Monday of every month, that's called a showdown episode. And here's how it goes. Me and your boy Steve. And then our Patreon subscribers, we each pick a movie. Me and Steve obviously pick our own movie with our own brains. And then the Patreon subscribers all suggest a movie that pertains to, whatever the particular topic for that month is. We spin a little wheel and then see who that might, what that lands on. And then that's the collective Patreon pick. And then we put those three movies up against each other during the showdown. We vote. And then someone takes home that son of a bitchin' championship strap for the month. Like I already said, spoiler alert, your boy took home that strap. It's now back where it rightfully belongs. It's actually right down here behind me. Hold on a sec. I'm gonna flash this thing. For those who are in the Discord here, I'm gonna throw this shit over my shoulder. I need to start showing people who's boss. It's about time for me to be swinging around, just let my dick hang, swinging them nuts around Giant Eagle with this belt on. Next time I go to get some chip chopped ham. So if you want a shot at this motherfucking belt, you got to go over on the Patreon, or you got to vote for Steve's movie. But I'm sorry. How dare you, Dan? How dare you? You don't utter her name in my presence. There's only a matter of time here. Sometime during spooky season, we're going to have a surprise run out. Meg's entrance music is going to hit, and then I'm going to make a super scared face, and then she's going to come running down and fucking Goldberg spear me at some point. But yeah, if you want to get a chance to either win this son of a bitchin' championship belt collectively with our Patreon subscribers, or maybe you just want to suggest a topic around which we duke it out for the showdown episode, you got to slide onto the DMs and give them to us. But because this is the week after the showdown episode, and we're doing our punishment, we are also going to spin that son of a bitchin' wheel 3 times. We're going to get 3 choices, and then those 3 choices are going to go up on the social medias in a little poll, and everybody's going to vote, and that's going to determine what our September showdown topic is going to be. All right, Steve, you ready with that wheel?
Yep. I got it going, spinning for the first one, and okay, this one is it's kind of a choose our own adventure a little bit.
Okay.
We've had it come up in the past. We pick a country or region. So it's, whatever country or region we think we want to, cover. So we could pick, we could pick Japan if we want, and we could do Japanese horror. We could do South American horror. We could do British horror. So since you're champ, I guess maybe that defers to you as, what you want. But
I'm saying it right now. Let's take all the question marks out of the equation here, all the variables out. Let's just call it J horror, because I'm picking it right now.
Sure.
So if you want to do some J horror, pick that one, because like I said, I've been on a tear. I've got a couple of them that I would like to talk about. Most of the ones I've been watching are absolute fucking hot garbage. So I don't know that I have one right now, but there's a lot of really good J horror that I has on my watch list that are people who are like, how haven't you watched this yet? So I say I'm picking it right now. Let's call that one J horror.
Sure. All right, second one, and. I think by invoking Meg's name, this came up, but it's best
horror.
No, best child's player Chiaki. She was the big fan of that series, but it's best one of those. It includes the remakes and the reboots. I assume we're taking the first movie off the table and taking the TV show off the table, unless
I say we take the TV show off the table.
Okay.
I don't necessarily think that we need to take the first one off the table.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, it might be the best, quote unquote, best movie, but it's not the most fun. That's for sure.
Okay. I'm really unfamiliar with the series, so it's not, I don't know. I'm not moved one way or the other. I might just pick the one with Aubrey Plaza just because I like Aubrey Plaza. Who fucking cares?
Mm-hmm. I didn't dislike that one, the remake. I didn't dislike that one at all. Some people really didn't like that. But I think those are probably people who are more hardcore fans of the franchise, which I am also not a diehard fan, but I can appreciate it. I think about it, this might be blasphemous for some people, but I think about it in kind of the same vein as I think about the Leprechaun franchise. Yeah. It's just silly, fun. Wacky kills, doesn't do a ton for me. Fun little character with little quips and stuff like that. I'm sure there are people out there who are like, you goddamn son of a bitch, don't you dare. And there's probably people the other side also are like, don't you dare, compare my beautiful, beautiful Leprechaun films to the child play franchise, which probably again supports my thesis here that they're the fucking same. They're just they're same side, two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, two sides of the same coin. Leprechaun went to the hood and started hanging out with a bad element there, and then Chucky started a family. It's just two sides of the same coin. That's all it is. Yeah.
Two friends, childhood friends that split off in different directions. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it. And our final category, a bit of a general category, but it's full of good stuff that we could pull from it. It's occult horror.
Ooh. Yeah, we can go in a lot of directions with that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we have J horror, We have a couple of categories, subcategories. We got J-horror, we have occult horror, and then we have the best of the Child's Play franchise, guys. We got 3 radically different ones here, specific to broad, all over the map here. So if you want to help us pick, which one we do for the lovely month of September, check out sometime in the middle of this week over on the Instagram and on the X, and we'll put a little poll for you to vote on. Help us pick. How's that sound? How's that sound idea? All right.
And you get the bonus vote on Patreon. So there you go.
You do that. Patreon subscribers get a little bonus vote. And you know what? Sometimes it does come down to just a few votes. So, I'm just saying, you're trying to swing it in your direction. Okie dokie. Steve, anything else we need to talk about top of the show here before we get into this wacky ass film?
No,
I know you're eager to get into Exte hair extensions from 2007. This director, I know we were texting a little bit back and forth whenever I told you that this was what we were going to do. This director, Sion Sono, he's got some good shit.
Yeah.
He's got some fun stuff. Probably the most, I would imagine the most broadly recognized movie, Western movie, because it has, of course, the great Nick Cage in it. Just came out a few years ago, which is Prisoners of a Ghostland, which was I believe it was a Shudder exclusive, wasn't it? But Shudder was pushing it pretty hard when it came out, and I do like that one.
Yeah, I don't know if it was necessarily a Shudder exclusive, but it did. I think it did premiere on there. I think I had seen it before that, but yeah. It's definitely a film that's been around. But yeah, Sion Sono is I guess he's kind of considered like one of the OGs as far as like just kind of shock Japanese horror goes, because like he got his start back in the 80s, and obviously everybody thinks about Takashi Miike.
Mm-hmm.
But he has his Sono has his own kind of lane of like gross and disgusting and disturbing, and I think we've even talked about him before, because he directly inspired the director of Tokyo Gore Police.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is definitely like a second, almost. This might not be entirely accurate for people who are much more well versed in J-horror than me. Might refute this, but for me, he almost reminds me of more of like a little bit later Japanese version of like a Frank Henenlotter or something like that. Like it's like shock, exploitation, grimy, sexual, like weird, gory pervert shit. But a little later, right? He really hit his stride in like the 90s, and really in the 2000s. I mean, he's pretty prolific. I think the first movie I ever saw of his was Suicide Club, which was from the early 2000s. Mm-hmm. And then since then, what have I seen before Prisoners in a Ghostland? What is it?
I saw Tokyo Vampire Hotel, because that was on
Tokyo Vampire Hotel. Yep.
That was on Prime. And I think it's still on Prime if you want to go watch that. But yeah.
Apparently there's a TV miniseries based on it as well, which I didn't know.
I mean, that's what I was saying. I saw the TV miniseries, actually.
Gotcha. No, I watched the movie. I didn't realize there was a TV miniseries. But so tons of stuff out there. Some wacky ass titles, man, that make me want to go watch some of these movies too. Some of these just sound like softcore porn. Guilty of Romance, No Pants Girls, Movie Boxing, Teachers of Sexual Play, modeling urns with the female body. That's just softcore porn.
I'm almost sure some of these are. And two, I think this, we obviously haven't done a deep enough dive into the director, but I'm guessing he's a far more like sexually focused version of Miike. Like Miike has like some gross pervert shit in his films.
Sure.
But it seems like, he's like, even this film, Exte, has some like pervert stuff in it. So like, I assume a lot of his films have like fetish and pervert stuff just all through them.
Yeah. Boy, this is a great title. I really want to watch this from 2013. Why Don't You Play in Hell? I don't know. I'm about to find out, though. That one's going on the list. This movie, however, has a if you're if you at least dabble in J horror, there's a couple of faces you might see. I'm gonna butcher her name, who plays Yuko, the main character. I think it's Kuriyama. Kayaki.
Yeah.
Kuriyama. Probably
Chiaki. Chiaki.
Is it Chiaki? Okay.
I would guess.
Yeah. You've probably seen her pop up in things before. Let me see if there's anything.
Kill Bill.
She's in Kill Bill. Yeah, that's the big one. But
and then the original Battle Royale is where like she got her a start, or where like at least she broke and got attention from Tarantino, because Tarantino loves Battle Royale, and then he put her in Kill Bill as Gogo Yubari, and then from there like she's been working ever since, but like mainly focuses on Japanese productions, and like I even read like she was in the Japanese version of CSI, so she's a consistent worker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, she's definitely the most notable one here. The one who plays, I think it's the sister, like the badass deadbeat sister. I believe she is. Oh, no, she doesn't have much in the way of credits. I was going to say, I thought I recognized her, but I think I'm probably mixing her up with somebody else. All right. Well, let's get into the frickin' movie here a little bit.
I did
anything
want
else
to point out,
as far as cast?
Yeah, I did want to point out two other guys. One is Ken Mitsuishi. He plays the detective Sugara in this film. He's a little bit like he's the older one.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, he is also in Audition, 13 Assassins, and Shin Godzilla.
Oh, I didn't know. No, I didn't recognize him.
Yeah.
So he's the taller of the two detectives?
Yeah, he's the taller, older one.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guy who plays Yamazaki, the hair pervert, is the Ren Osuigi. He is also in Audition and Shin Godzilla. So,
oh, I missed that.
Yeah. So
who's he play in Audition?
He plays a character by the name of Shimada. I haven't seen that film in a long time. I think he's one of the earlier victims.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's like one of the, he just has a victim's face. I feel like he could just show up and get killed in a movie pretty quickly. But boy, does he act his balls off in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So this movie starts pretty quick. I would say my overall take on this movie is that this is the dumbest topic, like the dumbest premise ever for a movie that actually got turned into a competent film. Until maybe the last like 3 minutes, and then it fucking just like falls apart. But like, this is a really competently made film. I mean, it's got its parts that are just like, well, the CGI is a little rough and stuff like that, but there's some good practical effects. Overall, pretty decent performance. It's shot like a movie that feels like 10 years older than it is in the sense of the lighting. It feels like it could also be almost be like a single camera sitcom kind of lighting at some points. I don't know. There's like a whole kind of vibe of certain J horror films that kind of, I feel like we've talked about before, that have that like weirdly almost like melodrama type of lighting at times.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like that a little bit. So that for me, that made it feel a little bit older, but it's a really competently made film, good performances, plays it straight as an arrow.
Yeah.
And honestly, for such a dumb premise, they kind of pull it off all right.
It works, but also this isn't the first time we've seen like hair-based horror from Japan either. Like both.
What's another one?
Quite On.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a story in the yes.
Yeah. And then I believe, and I think it's featured on the Junji Ito like animated adaptation. I believe there's a hair horror story in that, and it's on the animated adaptation that's on Netflix, not the new one that's coming, not the not the Uzumaki remake that's coming out on Adult Swim, but yeah, I think there's a hair-based horror story in in that as well. So it's like I've seen it before. I'm used to it. I don't quite get why they're so obsessed and scared by hair, but I've seen it.
It's interesting. It is interesting. It's like, and I honestly, I completely didn't even think about Qui-Gon when I was talking about that. And that's honestly one of my favorite movies. This is a more of a body horror take on hair. Not to say Qui-Gon isn't a little bit too, but like this is like full on body horror.
Yeah. I swear this film has to somewhat be based on the Junji Ito story, and it's the story is called The Long Hair in the Attic. So you can find the manga, and it was this story was from 1988, so it far predates this film. But yeah, it's one of those things that like it has to be based on it. It's so similar with like I think the main character is like a hairstylist, and then it's very similar. I don't know. Check it out.
It's interesting how I wonder if there's like, and I'm just thinking out loud here, like a little bit of a correlation. I feel like a lot of times, a lot of the examples of like Japanese body horror that I can think of are very, maybe not always. I was going to say, I was kind of trying to make like a identify a pattern of like, for whatever reason, American body horror tends to be like things getting cut off. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like you having parts of your body taken away or removed. Whereas between hair and fingernails and things like that, I feel like J-horror, it's like things growing out of control. You know what I mean? And I just wonder if that's if there's some sort of simile with or some sort of correlation with like larger cultural implications. I don't know. I'm just speculating.
I don't know that you can find that correlation exactly, but like you can find examples of it. Because I mean, like you see it in Akira, you see it in Tetsuo the Iron Man. So like there's definitely examples of it, but also like I think you can find just as many like amputation examples, because Tokyo Gore Police is just that's all amputation.
Everything
and,
getting
like,
cut off constantly.
Yeah, and weird body modification of like monster boobs and alligator leg stuff. So yeah, it's that one's all over the place.
Yeah. That's a wild card. Anyway, so this one kicks off with some bros working at like a harbor, right? So they're at like a shipping dock harbor, and there's these two like, I guess, kind of harbor officials, if you will. And they come up on this shipping container, or this stack of many shipping containers that just stinks something awful. And they open them up, and it's just filled to the brim with human hair. And I thought that was like a big gross reveal. They were like, oh yeah, shipping containers full of human hair, for making hair extensions. Like they just were like, oh yeah, this is a normal thing that happens. But there's as the kind of light shines on it a little bit, they see that there's a woman's body. There's like a corpse inside, that's kind of poking out of the hair, which is pretty cool. It's actually a pretty cool, creepy shot where it like comes up behind him. So the main kind of guy, he's got his back to it, and he's like making a phone call to be like, hey, we got to get this stinky ass hair out of here or whatever. And the two other guys are doing like a full on kind of slapstick, Shag and Scooby like response to it. And right off the bat, I was like, this is gonna be fun.
I don't know that the Japanese have a word for hamana, but
yeah. For some reason, I was chuckling to myself because I was watching this, and I've been doing the working out lately. I got a little bit of a workout mix, and on my workout mix, as any good workout mix has, is I got a little DMX on there. As you do.
Yeah.
And And as soon as for some reason, as soon as I saw it popping up, the corpse in the thing on the harbor, I just immediately thought, listen, your ass is about to be missing. You know who's going to find you? Some old man fishing. I don't know why. I just started immediately thinking of that DMX line. And I chuckled to myself. So weirdly enough, this corpse has this little bell around like her wrist. And I was in love right away. This is not even 5 minutes into the movie, because as they're showing the corpse and the little bell around the wrist, this like weird Japanese version of Silent Night is playing. And I was like, motherfucker, do we got us a Christmas horror movie? Because you know how I like that Christmas horror. And it is a little bit a Christmas horror movie. Not exactly. But there is some Christmas elements, specifically that song, and then we get a flashback later on to some Christmas adjacent antics. But you know, obviously you assume the authorities come, that sort of thing. So here's where we get introduced to Yamazaki, who we were talking about as a gentleman who was in Audition, or played by the gentleman who's in Audition. He's the kind of like I guess morgue attendant. And he's a real piece of work. He's a real creepy motherfucker. Mm-hmm. And he's into hair. And we don't know why. We don't know to what degree, but he's really into the hair. And weirdly enough, and I like to maybe we can resurface this later, because he's looking at the corpse, and all the corpses in the cooler, and you know they're different. He's collected some young ladies' corpses in the morgue, and he's going through and he's kind of passing judgment on their hair. He's like, your hair's fucking disgusting. Fuck you, piece of shit. And then he gets to the one. He's like, oh my God, it's perfect. He's like slobbering over this girl's hair. And at one point, all the corpses turn their head and look at him. And I was like, was that in his head? Was that the one? Yeah, it had to be, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's so bizarre. It was such a bizarre thing, because that never came back. Obviously, we've got this one corpse, which we learn. Listen, we're not going to spoil much here. We're not going to ruin a big reveal. One of the corpses just keeps growing a shitload of hair. And the other ones don't, but they all looked at him. Well, that was an interesting decision.
Yeah. It's one of those things that it's an interesting setup for a story that I feel like we don't see enough of, where we have Yamazaki, the hair pervert, who is like, he's his own monster. Like he's been doing hair defilement probably for years, and just nobody pays attention. But then we have this other entity that just kind of falls into his lap by happenstance. Yeah. But it's kind of the perfect marriage of two monsters, and like it's combining volatile elements to something, dangerous. So yeah.
And you can only assume that the whatever this is, let's say it's a hair ghost, it's not a demon, it's not evil necessarily. It is violent, and it does kill people, but oftentimes it kills or attempts to kill people that like kind of deserve it. So it's a little bit of a, I don't know, vigilante hair demon. I don't know what the hell it is. Hair ghost. Let's call it a dang old hair ghost.
It's a hair curse or a hair ghost.
They almost treat it a little bit like a virus type of thing, because of course the hair extensions. But in any case, you have to assume it had seeked out Yamazaki.
I mean, perhaps.
Otherwise, are we just meant to think that this is an insane coincidence? That, what's the percentage of Japanese people who are hair perverts? You know what I mean? Like,
actually, Brian, it's 75%. You didn't know that.
Oh my God! Wow. Listen, I'm not very worldly. Anyway, we'll talk about it later, because I'm curious if we think that this was by design. Anyway, we get introduced to two young ladies. We have Yuko, who's the main character, and then we have Yuki, who is her roommate. And, we get to know her and all of her coworkers and all these types of things. So I would say Yuko is very driven. She has this this is a bit of a trope in Japanese cinema and television. You've got this plucky young go-getter who's out to make their way in the world in their chosen profession, which for her it is as a hairstylist. And she's very like innocent, kind of happy-go-lucky. She does this thing multiple times throughout the film. It's like an ongoing thing where she kind of narrates her own life like it's a sitcom a little bit, like it's a voiceover on a sitcom. So she's always doing that. She's like going about her. She's just psyched to go about her day. She works at, which I thought this was kind of fun. She works at a salon in like what appears to be a smallish town. And it's called Gilda Ray's, which the one person we share the sign, she's like, Gilda Ray's, it's French. Like that makes it fun. But if you know who Gilda Ray's is, one of the most evil people known to history, like one of the absolute most horrific historical figures ever. Like last podcast on the left did like a 4-part series on this person. He was an absolute fucking monster, child murderer, like just depraved to like the umpteenth degree, like one of the worst human beings ever be caught. So it's like obviously a little funny wink wink nod nod that's who the salon's named after. Go back to Yamazaki, and the two detectives are talking to Yamazaki and checking out the bodies, and it's shaved bald, its organs are gone, including its eyes, and it's all stitched up, and they cut the stitches, and you find that she's like stuffed with human hair, like a dang pillow. That's at least what they think at first. And they're like, damn, this must have been some sort of like human trafficking type of incident, you know, so they're obviously bound determined to find out who did this. They leave Yamazaki, and he takes the corpse back to the cooler and starts to see that its hair is growing, and specifically at first on its tongue.
Right.
And he's talking to it. And this was confusing. He didn't seem that surprised by the whole thing. And I was like, is this his first hair ghost? Because it feels like it might not be his first hair ghost. Like, he's like, is it because the world is cruel? Like, he's like talking to it like, I know how this old story goes. You get human trafficked and now you're growing hair on your tongue, corpse. You know, you're not sure if he's talking like that because he's very crazy, which obviously he is, or if it's like, no, he knows what to look for and finds hair ghosts. And that's his thing. He's into hair. He's not just into hair. He's into supernatural hair ghosts.
And maybe this is our own failings of like not knowing the culture well enough. Maybe this is a more well-established like folklore of like people who die violent deaths, like come back as cursed hair ghosts, which is why those other stories for Kwaidan and from Junji Ito exist on their own as well, because like maybe just hair ghosts are more well established in the culture and we don't know that and we're dumb, which is possible. But obviously Yamazaki would know that, and then he identifies a hair ghost when he sees one, and he goes, and that's why like. So, like, after he's done with the detectives and they cut to him in the cooler, he's running down the hall with, like, excitement. And he's like, oh, I got a live one. You know, like,
I think pumped. You're probably right. Because there's all the, you know, I mean, I'm comparing it to, like, all the Japanese, like, yokai, but all these, like, hyper-specific, like, creatures in folklore. Like almost like, but there's also all these different, very specific types of ghosts. Like I can't remember the name of like the Japanese like female, like water ghost, you know, which is, you know, like Ringu, and there's 100 other things. I mean, Kwaidan has, you know, one that's very similar as well, where it's like essentially like the forlorn wife or lover, but usually it's a lover of a man who's married, or maybe like a mistress who then is killed to hide the infidelity. and they end up, being drowned in the river and come back as dang old water ghosts. And I don't remember what they're called, but this is probably something like that. I bet you're right. Otherwise, this is really out of left field. So maybe this is just like a pretty paint by numbers horror movie for Japanese horror fans. And for us, we're like, Jesus Christ, crazy hair ghost. But so we get introduced to Yuko's sister, who's a real shitbag. And she dumps her kid off, who's like, I don't know, maybe like 7, I would say. Her name's Mommy. And she dumps her off at her doorstep. And is just like, leaves a note. It's like, take care of the kid. I'm off to fucking party. And they quickly see that the kid's been abused, has like bruises on her and stuff like that. Like I said, she's maybe, I don't know, 7 or 8 years old. Meanwhile, Yamasaki is, I'm going to say, a competitive wig maker. Like, he lives in a little shack, like a sea shanty. Right. This is a little seaside, like resort town. You kind of get the idea. Right. And he's got this little sea shanty that he's like kind of broken down, nasty little place where he lives. And he's got a bunch of medals and trophies for making very high quality wigs. So I take it as his real, like, his day job in the morgue is just to facilitate the finding of hair ghosts. Or just corpse hair that he can then take to fuel his passion, which is making wigs and hair extensions. So at least he's productive in his creepy hair perversion. He doesn't like fuck the hair. You know what I mean?
Well,
I mean, later it's questionable, but up to this point, you're just like, he just likes making wigs and hair extensions.
Yeah, he's definitely way too into hair in a bad way.
He is. But again, you don't explicitly see him like jacking off with hair, but you think that that's probably something that happens.
Yeah. It definitely is something that happens. Like later on, there's a pretty uncomfortable scene between him and the young girl Mommy that we just met.
Yeah.
And it's obviously charged in a way that's very gross. But you can tell he's not into her as a kid. It's not a thing where like he's, a pedo. It's a thing where he's like, I want to take her hair.
Yeah, he's explicitly into the hair. Like, it doesn't really matter what person the hair is on. He is 100% in on hair. That's his only thing.
Yeah.
And he has long, kind of luxurious hair too, we should say. But I don't know if it's a wig, because it looks a little bit like a wig.
Yeah, no, he wears various wigs. Because this first scene while we're in the shanty, he actually has like short hair. So all those other times he's wearing wigs, and then he even wears like a long blonde wig at one point. So
that's true. I forgot he did. Yeah. He's definitely wearing various wigs that he's made. But yeah, so the detectives come back and the body has been stolen, right? Obviously, we know Yamasaki stole it, and they know he did too. But they can't necessarily prove it, but they just like really rough him up and like fuck with him and stuff. Cause you stole it. He's like, I didn't. And it's just like, there's not a lot of checks and balances over at the old morgue. And let's be honest, there's no way that's the first corpse he's stolen. I feel like this should not be a 3 strikes you're out type situation. You lose one corpse, you should be on the employment line. But they gave him, apparently it's a 3 strike situation for him in his corpse losing. But obviously this one he's taken home and he's using it as a fucking chia pet to grow hair on. But we talked about that. So the salon owner doesn't seem to like Yuko very much, despite her like, drivenness and hardworking attitude and stuff. And she's like kind of very self-conscious about she's like younger than the rest of them and hasn't really made that great of an impression on her boss, I guess. Mommy's dick mom shows back up before Yuko gets home from work and just comes in and just like makes herself at home, just starts like harassing the roommate, just like taking shit, just digging in the fridge, breaking shit. She's just like a fucking menace. Yuko shows up and then the sister starts harassing her, and you get this idea that she had a lot of control over her when they were kids. So she's really manipulating Yuko as well. There's this whole thing about Yuko had an abortion at some point, and she had an abortion, and then she's able to go like pursue her dreams while the sister had her kid, and it's like that she blames the kid for ruining her life. Meanwhile, she's just like a shitbag, and they constantly show her out like partying with some like degenerates and like just getting hammered and doing karaoke and doing blow and shit like that, while her kids, you know, sitting at her sister. They do say half sister's house. So you get the idea they share a parent, but they do stand up to her and kind of protect the little girl. But she should have brained her, but she didn't. But she did stand up. She did stand up to her. Like this character is so great at just being super hateable. You want her to just pick up a mallet and just whack her in the head with it.
Yeah, it's a character you want dead from like the very start, because she's just so she has no redeeming qualities at any point, and they don't try to give her any. So you just kind of want her dead. My only problem is like a lot of these scenes just make the film like too long. Like the film
drags at times.
Yeah, the film's like almost 2 hours. It's like an hour 50, and it's just like we don't need this many scenes to understand what a shitbird Yuko's sister is. Like we get it pretty quickly. All you had to do was show us that like she had abused her kid, and like immediately that's, you know, already we're like, okay, well, we got to get rid of this person. Yeah.
No, she keeps coming back and like terrorizing them multiple times. And she wants the kid. She doesn't want the kid. She's manipulating the kid. The kid's like she says that she like owns her and like she's her property. And it's, it does go on quite a long time. And she has this weird relationship with this like psycho. I don't know if he's a pimp or a gangster or something, but he seems to be he's a pretty no good dude. You get the idea? At the very least, just like a degenerate that like hangs out at whatever this creepy ass club that she's at. And the kid is super pathetic. Like is like always trying to please everybody, and it's like obviously on pins and needles, just like an abused child, and it's like it's super pathetic.
Her boyfriend is the kind of guy you would just beat up on the streets of the game Yakuza. Like, he's just one of the randos that has like nothing to do with the story. He's just a guy you bump into the street outside the pawn shop and just whoop his ass for a fucking health power up.
Yeah. He's just there to get killed at some point. Then we just do a hard cut to just tons of hair growing out of the corpse, like everywhere. And obviously Yamasaki is harvesting it. And you know, we don't know exactly what he's doing yet, but we're pretty sure he's making wigs and hair extensions because the movie's title is called Hair Extensions. He talks to the corpse about like dirty women and their filthy hair. You know, so like there's some sexual stuff obviously going on. Like he might not explicitly be fucking the hair, but like there's a lot tied up, pun intended. There's a lot tied up in the hair for him. In more ways than one. He eventually shows up at the salon though, and like I said, he sells hair extensions. First he goes to a different salon, and he goes back. You know, he's going around. He's selling these hair extensions. That's part of what he does. He walks around with this bird cage, and he's got all these hair extensions in it. He goes back, and like the hair is just growing like crazy at this time. He sold a hair extension to this other salon owner who puts it in a customer's. No, she puts it. He puts it in her hair.
Yeah.
She puts it in her own hair. That's right, because the actual stylist is the one who has the extension in. But then she's cutting another woman's hair, styling another woman's hair, and she's like, "Oh, what's that?" And she's like, "Oh, I just got a hair extension. It looks great." You know, she's like, "Oh, you know," so she's like, "Do you want one?" And she's like, "No, I can, you know, maybe next time or whatever." But then the hair like goes in her ear, like crawls in her ear and shows her like the corpses who's growing the hair back at Yamasaki's place, like shows the fate of that woman and how she was human trafficked and like her hair was cut off, her organs were harvested. and it shows essentially that she was like put under, but not entirely. So she was like awake and aware in some capacity when the like, you know, black market surgery was being done on her. And then she tries to like escape at one point. She gets like thrown into this little Christmas tree, and that's where the little bell comes from. It's a bit of a stretch, but that's where the little bell comes from initially. And again, you get the Silent Night playing again. So, you know, you're starting to get the backstory of the corpse now, which you're seeing through the eyes of the. So it's like, what is the hair trying to do? The hair's trying to show what happened and ultimately wants revenge. But why does it show this person that if it's just going to make her just kill her client, which she clearly does? She hammers scissors into the client's ear or something and starts screaming that she's a bad girl. And I don't know. She presumably kills her. She does kill her. You don't see her finish her off. But what's the hair trying to accomplish at this point is the question mark, or what's the hair ghost trying to accomplish?
You know, and I think this is just the problem of like hair ghosts and hair curses, and just like Japanese ghosts in general, is like after they've had their traumatic death, they don't really care who they bother and kill after that, because you know in the ring, it's whoever watches the tape. Doesn't matter if you're related to who threw her down the well or not. You watch the tape. Now you're in trouble. So that's true. All.
It's more just a revenge on the society that made this a reality. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Yamasaki's back there playing the supernatural hair growth blues, and he's just picking at the old guitar. And he sees a news report about his client killed her client. He's not that concerned, obviously, but he then sings like this little, like, I guess a lullaby to his little chia pet corpse, and kind of dresses her up and like kisses her hair and stuff. It's, obviously he's not that cool.
No, he's pretty stoked that he has full confirmation that not only is it a hair ghost, but also it's a violent hair ghost. So now he's like, oh yeah, I'm just going to really ramp up production now and get these extensions out there and just get hair all over the place is his idea.
And now he's out. He's just out and about, just scoping he's just out cruising for hair, right? He's got this weird little outfit on, like little overalls, like peace sign and shit. And this like hat with his wig. And he's got a video camera, and he's just like videotaping people in the street with nice hair and like talking to himself. And we're just following him around, watching him do this for a while. It felt, for me, this moment just felt like a character. He felt like a character in like a Charles Band flick or something like that. It just was like, it just felt like a weird little wasting time interlude with the killer going out. He's not a killer, obviously, but he's bad guy. And he's out just kind of, I don't know, just looking for trouble, just fucking around. And we're following him and watching him with all these hijinks.
It definitely feels more like a scene that should have come earlier in the film, like before he got his hair ghost. Because like it's definitely like it sets his character up as a good hair pervert, but at this point in the film, we already know that. We're 40 minutes in. We know he's a hair pervert, so we don't need to watch him. He's been
kissing hair, dressing it up, calling them dirty girls. Like, he's been doing way more offensive hair pervert stuff.
Yeah, so we don't need all that. It's just a device to get him in the same place as Yuko's niece, because she's wandering around the city. So he spies her and starts creeping on her. He eventually brings her back to Yuko's salon, and he's just being super awkward in front of everyone, and it becomes really weird. He's talking about Yuko's hair and the niece's hair, and everyone thinks it's, mommy is her kid, and her boss is being real weird about it. The boss is like, how dare you have a kid? The boss kind of sucks ass. Like she's real. Spoiler alert. People just start dying, in her salon. And she's like, wow, that was a bummer. Let's not let it affect our work. And also, how dare you have a child, even though it's not her child, but she thinks it is. But anyway,
everyone thinks that, or start kind of looking sideways at Yuko, thinking she's the one who has abused the kid. So she's very self-conscious about that. Yuko takes her home and discovers that she also like fucked up all her mannequins, her little hair mannequins, and she's just kind of being a dick to the kid. Obviously, she's more worried about cutting hair at this point and her dreams than the kid. And she's like adjusting to this idea. It's a very Big Daddy situation here. Meanwhile, Yamasaki is watching all his hair footage and also just riding a tricycle around his hair warehouse. like a fucking weird, like, was a Billy the Doll kind of thing. He's like riding a little tricycle around his hair warehouse. I'm gonna call it a hair house. It's just a big ass giant. I don't know. He lives in the docks and he keeps hair there. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like it was at one point, just like, you know, some sort of like maybe boat building, you know, fishing warehouse or whatever. But yeah, he's running around, you know, this building, and he's on the tricycle, and he's playing the videotape that he had just recorded. Right. And even on the TV, he has a wig on the TV that's enshrined the TV. He becomes very silly very quickly. Like he almost becomes this like comedic, almost like Chop Top meets Buffalo Bill a little bit, but like the comedic elements of the silliness of Chop Top. But he's got some weird Buffalo Bill tendencies as well. But he becomes this very comedic character. Yeah, Chop Top is a great just kind of point of reference, because like you said earlier, he has a silly outfit on. He has this giant American flag T-shirt that also has peace symbols on it, and he's wearing overalls. So yeah, like Chop Top's a great kind of jumping point for that. Yeah, he if Chop Top was a hair pervert, that's pretty much what it is. Who says he's not? You know, I mean, he wears a wig. Yeah. He has his own hair problems. Maybe he's jealous of others, and it makes him a hair pervert. Mm-hmm. He goes. Yamasaki goes back to the salon and drops off his extension samples, and you know, he's a fucking creeper who weirded everyone out a few hours ago. Now they're like, this dude's a fucking hair genius. Like they are so into it. They're so psyched about his hair extensions. They want to buy all of them. All of a sudden, he is a trusted vendor for their shops. A few minutes ago, he was a fucking nutcase that creeped everybody out. Yeah, again, the boss just like scolds Yuko for having a kid, basically, even though she doesn't. So then there's this jerk customer who keeps antagonizing Yuko, and they put hair extensions, you know, in her, one of the new hair extensions from Yamazaki, and she goes home and gets in the shower, and she's in the shower, and I guess she like cuts herself on her hair. The hair can like become, you know, obviously it can move around like an appendage, but also it can be sharp at times. Yeah. And then the extension tries to like strangle her in her sleep, and then the hair starts like pulling out her eyes, like pulling out of her eyes, not her eyeballs, but coming out of her eye sockets like a magician's handkerchief, you know? Yeah. It's just coming out. And then out of her fingers, or like fingertips, like under her fingernails, kind of. And then she falls and, I don't know, cuts herself or something. Anyway, it's dark. You're not really sure. All you know is just hair pouring out of like orifices, not like her mouth and her ears and her nose necessarily, like her eyes and her under her fingernails. It's pretty bizarre. Simultaneously, you know, Yuko gets home, and the little girl has cleaned up the whole place, and now she's very nice to her, and now they're bonding, and they start fixing all her hair mannequins, and you know, she like rings one of the little bells that is tied around the. So here's the other thing, right? This is why I'm like, why? This is why I think Yamazaki had something to do
with the ascension of the hair ghost, whether it's he arranged for shipping or he was a pawn in this in some way. How would he know to put the little bell? Is this just meant to be a coincidence? You think it's just a coincidence that he puts little bells on his extensions that he sells? You know what I mean? Like, he seems to have some sort of like very linked relationship with the hair ghost, aside from the fact that he just found her and is like, sick, I'm a hair pervert. I'm so lucky to have found a insane hair growing corpse, you know?
Yeah,
it's almost like he summoned this, or he willed it into existence, or he is involved with some sort of, I don't know, hair ghost international smuggling ring. I mean, I'm being a little facetious, but like, what the fuck is going on? There seems to be a link here.
So I don't think it's that he, had this shipping container arranged or anything like that. Mm-hmm. He definitely has a mood board that, like he tries to manifest a hair ghost and then he gets one. Mm-hmm. But I think I think the initial meeting between him and the corpse in the morgue is coincidental, but it's like when he gets the corpse back to his house and like he sets her up in his hammock and he has, all these, like conversations with it and everything. He has an understanding of it in a way. Like he's a hair whisperer. And he
is a hair whisperer. I think that's fair.
And I think because the bell like was attached to the corpse, that was just his own little flair of like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go buy some more bells and I'm going to start attaching them to the hair as well. And he's just like, I'm not going to separate the bells and the hair. They're their own thing. So that's my little flair now. And the bells go with the hair, and then the bells give the ghost power. And so
he took the real life coincidence of there being a bell attached.
Yeah.
And inserted that into his marketing messaging.
Yes.
Is what you're saying. Yes. Gotcha.
Yep. He saw opportunity.
It makes as much sense as anything else. I mean,
yeah. He saw opportunity in marketing is what he saw. Like had she grabbed a Slim Jim and died with a Slim Jim in her hand, then, he'd be selling hair and Slim Jims. It probably wouldn't go over as well, but he would try.
It's like how, for anybody out there who works in a brewery, if you receive, shipment of malt, sometimes they'll put a little like nut roll in there or something, like a little, a little snacky or something, and whoever unrolls the sack, whoever unloads the sacks of grain off the pallet gets the nut roll. Yeah. There's only 3 people out there that are brewers and they know what I'm talking about. But, so, back over to the jerk customer, she's got the hair on her tongue now. And she's got hair eyes, and she's got hair in all kinds of places where there's not hair supposed to be. So they keep cutting back and forth. So meanwhile, Yamasaki's corpse is now just like pouring like rivers of new hair out of its orifices. We get another flashback to the original, victim girl, and you kind of see her plight and like the scumbags who abducted her and all that stuff. The customer's hair is just shooting out and just does like almost a Hellraiser type of thing with her, where it like strings her up in all different directions with different like chunks of hair. It's stringing her up on the ceiling before like, I guess, retracting into her scalp and then pouring out of all of her orifices and just filling the apartment. And it's kind of the same thing as what's happening at Yamasaki's place, his hair house, but this is just filling up like her apartment, like filling every inch of the apartment with hair, essentially.
Yeah, just like the shipping container.
Right.
She just eventually, like, that's the way she dispatches of everybody. She's just like, it's hair everywhere now.
Yeah. It's not like I'm going to, strangle you with the hair. It's just, I'm going to fill up every square inch of the place with hair coming out of your orifices. So meanwhile, the dick sister shows back up for her daughter, and then, no one else is at home. So she kind of sweet talks her into opening the door and starts just being a dick again, trashing the place, steals a bunch of stuff, including some of the hair extensions. The roommate, Yuko's roommate, Yuki, is breakdancing at a skate park, I guess. I don't know. I spelled skate with an 8, the number 8 as well. That just kind of seemed like the vibe with what she was doing.
This was in the expository dialogue at the beginning of the film, Brian, that, they all explained what their jobs were. And Yuki is a dancer. She said, I'm going to be the Yuki focuses on her life as the best dancer. And then, so like now that's what she's up to. She's at her job. I assumed she was like a music video background dancer. But,
it looked like it was a music video they were shooting. It just is more funny to think that she was just breakdancing at a skate park, like a grown woman just breakdancing at a skate park.
Which I assume ray gun. Have you seen the Olympics?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I already heard they're not bringing that back for the next Olympics.
It's a shame. It's a shame because like some of the other breakdancers were like really impressive, but like this lady from Australia gets up there and just does the most wiggle worm goof ass dance anybody's ever seen.
It was really funny. Yeah, that poor woman's gonna be a meme for like the next 10 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get a little bit more of the sister and her shitbag boyfriend, the hair extension, and they're just like the boyfriend almost like gets off on her like beating her daughter. It's pretty disturbing, but the hair extension, the boyfriend's like, oh, what's this? Reaches down, the hair extension like attaches to his arm, and it's kind of this weird little scene where he's like looking at it and she's looking at it, and they're both like fucked up. I don't know if they're on drugs or whatever, but they're all fucked up. And he's like, what is this? Get it off me. And she's like, it's attached to your arm. Like, it's just this weird little like moment where they're both like confused and speaking very matter of factly about what's happening. Meanwhile, it just starts to go wild and it rips up the place, and you're like in like mommy is in the like a closet, and she like her mom's like head gets smashed through the closet. You're just kind of seeing it all from her perspective. Meanwhile, Yuko gets there and the place is just fucked up, right? And the daughter's gone. So now she's like looking around the place, and then like this little toy car reveals that there's a room that's just filled with more growing hair, and mommy or mammy, I keep saying mommy, I don't know if it's mammy or mommy, I forget, but she escapes, but she's in the hospital. Something fucked up. I think Yuko have to like jump out the window or some shit. It's like a little escape scene. I forgot to take notes down about it, but she like,
well, no, Yuko's not in this scene.
Oh, that's right. It's her.
Yeah. Mommy just jumps out the window because like the
she's
little
the one
toy
who jumps
car,
out the window.
Yeah, like the little toy car. I thought was like it's a really cool like setup, but it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Why is there a police car there? It's just
like a little toy police car, and she like it just starts going, and then it kind of goes into the doorway, and the like flashing lights on the toy car, like illuminate to see that there is a big giant room full of hair.
Yeah. Which it's a cool visual. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but whatever, it gets you there. And then mommy jumps out the window because she realizes, oh, a big house of hair is about to kill me. And then she jumps out the window, and there's a guy like across the way, and he's like, oh no, little girl. She just falls and splats on the pavement.
Yeah. And she survives, right? But she's in the hospital. And Yuko comes and talks to the doctor, the nurse or whatever, and says like she's okay, but she's in the hospital, whatever. And she has to identify her sister's body. So she did. And Mammy is all bandaged up and tells her Yuko and the detective that a hair monster killed her mom. And they're like, girl, you crazy. So then there's this pretty like extended scene of Yamasaki like doing a song and dance with the hair corpse.
Yeah.
And he's made like a fringed, like Macho Man style sleeved shirt with the hair. And he's just cutting a promo, singing a song. It goes on for a while. So like I said, he really is like comic relief really at this point. Like he went from like Buffalo Bill to just like Silly Billy. Like he's just being funny now.
Yeah. It's Chop Top. Like it has this, it's such a weird dynamic between him and the hair monster, because it's not like a Dracula Renfield dynamic where like Dracula gives Renfield orders, because Yamasaki kind of operates on his own, but he still has that subservience and reverence for the hair monster, even though it doesn't really give him direct orders. He just goes out on his own. He's like, I'm gonna spread the hair to everybody, woo, and then I'm gonna do a dance, and I'm gonna wear a silly shirt.
Yeah, it never like speaks to him and goes like, go do this or whatever.
Right.
Like he's never feels like he's doing its bidding. He's just kind of trying to keep it, I was going to say it's like a Little Shop of Horrors, but it's not even that, because he doesn't have to like feed it or anything. He just lets it be,
Yeah. It's like he was just given like a box of grenades is really what it is. You just gave a crazy person a box of grenades.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. The salon owner is like, oh, hey, old, what's her name? The client died. Bummer, back to hair, and they're just like, they're all a little shaken up, but it's just like, oh, she died. She got killed right after she left here. But it's very much an afterthought. Yuko tells her stylist again, like she tells her like an origin, like her she tells, who is it? I think it's her friend, right? She tells her like stylist origin story of like when she was a kid and her mom going to the salon with her mom, and her mom was ugly and then they made her look pretty, and then she thought she was ugly and they made her look pretty, and I don't know, it was pretty kind of a non sequitur. But we do that. That could have all got cut out, to be honest.
Yeah, that's another one of those, like, we're like, on the one hand, yeah, it's good characterization, but I don't know, do we need all that for a hair monster film? Especially
this late in the game. It feels a little late in the game to be getting that. Anyway, the detectives then learn, I guess they sent a DNA sample of the hair that was at all the crime scenes, and the samples come back and all the hair from all the murder victims were the same DNA. It was the same hair. All right, we know this. Like, we're so far ahead of the detectives that like who cares?
Welcome to the party, guys. Thanks for catching up.
Yeah. So they're having at Yuko's salon, this is the day of the big hair competition at work. Like, what the fuck is going on? They call it something, I forget. But it's just like everyone's gonna have a big hair competition. Like, we're on, doing a Food Network reality show, but it's hair.
Yeah, I assume, because I think this happens in America when you're like going through stylist school. You have like a final exam where you have to do really good hair on somebody. Hairapalooza, says Dan.
Yeah, if you're like in school, Hairapalooza, yeah. But here's the thing is like, this is like a place of business. This is a salon already. Unless she's like, they're all apprentices, I guess. They do kind of suggest that. Yeah. Okay. So this is part of their continuing education.
Yeah. Like, that's the other thing about like hairstylists. I don't know that they all necessarily go to school until they're ready to cut hair. I've had my hair fucked up by an apprentice before. So, and I got a coupon from it. And it's like, well, that doesn't encourage me to come back.
Like, what did they do? They stab you in the ear?
No, they just fucked it up and made it like uneven and bad. It just, which, I mean, like, my hair
listen, you asked for it. You
No, I
went to the
didn't ask
apprentice
for-
barber.
I didn't go to the apprentice barber. I went to like a fucking Supercuts, and they just had an
Yeah.
apprentice there, and I got stuck with her.
Yeah.
And she.
Oh, I see.
But it's not like my hair is fucking like amazing to like. I don't do stylization with it, so it's not like it's amazing to fuck up in the first place. So I'm just kind of like, whatever. It'll be fine in 2 weeks. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, it'll grow back. So Yuko is gonna cut Mammy's hair and prove to herself and her boss and all her coworkers that she's good at hair. And she gives Mammy some of the extensions, which we all knew was going to happen at some point. Meanwhile, the detectives come and they question everyone about the customer's death and the extensions and where they got them and yada, yada. Yuko realizes something is wrong with the extensions that she gave Mammy, and she rushes home, to her and her roommate, because her roommate's at home watching the little girl. Like hair starts pouring out of, I guess, a fax machine and like the air conditioner. And I guess it's because they were cutting hair, right? And they were putting some of the hair extensions into the dummies. So did the hair start coming out of all these areas because the cursed hair was like spread around the apartment? Is that what we were meant to believe?
Yeah. It's just kind of spread around the apartment. So now it's taking over. It's got nothing else to do. And then, they realize, as Mommy's working on one of the dummy heads that has the extension in it, she cuts the extension and it starts to bleed. So then
it shoots blood out.
Yeah, and then they realize, oh shit, look at all the hair everywhere. Time to leave this room. This room's full of hair, and that's not right. Full of hair in the bad way.
Yeah, and it's like it quickly like overtakes the whole apartment, attacks the roommate. Meanwhile, Yamazaki sees that his hair ghost is angry again, and that means that a murder is going to happen. I guess when it starts violently puking hair out, he knows that its hair is off somewhere murdering someone. And I guess he fears for the salon girls at this point that he sold them to, and he's like, oh no, my clients, like I might have curtains, like you're just realizing now that you gave them fucking cursed hair. But Yuko gets home at the end of the day, opens her door, and it's just solid hair. It's just all the hair. And she dives into it and gets to the middle of her apartment by like swimming through, the tangle of hair. Meanwhile, the whole Silent Night thing's playing. She finds Mommy unconscious with her hair, the extension was in her hair, wrapped around the roommate, and tries to battle the hair, but it chokes her out. Meanwhile, Yamazaki shows up and scolds the hair, I guess, into retreating temporarily, because he's like the master of the hair. Like he's like charmed the hair in some capacity. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
nothing up to this point would have suggested he had the ability to do that.
Yeah, nothing suggested he has that ability, but it is like the basis of like he is trying to save Yuko and Mommy, not because he cares about them, but because he wants their hair. Like he's already deemed both of their hairs to be perfect. So he sees their hairs as perfect. He doesn't want to lose their hairs, but also, he doesn't want to lose the ghost hair either. So it's like a give and take. He's trying to have the best of both worlds. I want these, this girl and her niece, I want their hair, but also I like the weapon hair. Give me the weapon hair too. Give me all this.
Yeah. I mean, it's safe to say the hair is always number one priority for him. Hair is number one. He's always looking out for number one, and number one is the hair. Meanwhile, the detectives go to Yamazaki's weird little sea shanty, and they find the hair ghost monster or whatever there, and they realize that it's the corpse from earlier. And Yamazaki, they're cutting back and forth. So Yamazaki says, hair relaxes me. And he talks about how like the hair is his only friend, I guess. And He drives Yuko and Mommy back to his place and finds the detectives have been trapped by the hair, like almost in like a spider web kind of thing.
Hold on, Brian.
And yeah.
He drives them back in what? A hairmobile.
A hairmobile?
Yes, he's driving a hairmobile. Did you miss the hairmobile?
I did miss the hairmobile.
Yeah.
Is it just a car covered in hair?
Yes, it's like, it looks like it's probably, I don't think they show a full exterior of it, but they show the hood, and they like, there's hair all over the hood of the car. It looks like if they showed like a full wide angle, they don't show a full wide angle, but they show enough interspersed cuts of the outside of the vehicle, but it would look like the dog truck from Dumb and Dumber, except for its long black Japanese hair.
I did not notice that. I was watching this on my phone on YouTube, and that one snuck by me somehow.
Yeah, it's a hairmobile. It fucking rules.
Surprised I missed that. And yeah, so they start to like come to the detectives, and Yamazaki just starts wailing on them, just punching and kicking them and shit, which is kind of comical. And then he has this big, long, like confusing hair related monologue. And the corpse, you know, we confirm like the corpse was a victim of human trafficking and organ harvesting. So that is what made her hair rage. Like, I thought we were going to get an explanation, but we just got the things we've already saw.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he just explains what we've already saw to the people on screen. And he wants Yuko and Mommy to be his also, I guess, like hair brides or something. I don't know. Willing hair slaves.
Yeah. Harem.
It's a harem. Anyway, he chokes a detective for a while, and he's like, "That'll teach you to mess with hair." He's got a lot of lines late in the game here. He shows them his hair tongue, because now he's got hair growing on his tongue. And this is when things just kind of get really cartoonish and bonkers in the last like 5 minutes of the movie. We don't realize up to this point, but the reveal is kind of that he's been, I guess, kind of infected by the hair, right?
Mm-hmm.
The hair, either he's made a wig and put it on his head from the hair, or gave himself hair extensions or whatever. But now his tongue is covered with the hair. And Yuko like grabs his tongue and pulls it like Tweety Bird pulling like Sylvester's tongue, and it like stretches and snaps back.
Yeah.
And you're like, nothing up to this point is like that has happened.
No.
So it's very comical. And then she like slices his throat with some broken glass, and it starts pouring out hair. But then it heals. I guess it just heals up immediately because he's now like more hair than person, I guess. So he's not at this point, or maybe at who knows how long, but he is not a hair obsessed psychopath. At this point, he is literally a super villain, and his superpower is hair.
Right.
So again, I think this is support for there's something else going on here. His relationship with hair is on a supernatural level.
I mean, I think it becomes supernatural over time because it's just exposure. Like, he spends so much time living in the hair house with the hair monster, and I'm sure he's doing stuff with the hair. That's what they don't show you, but he's definitely doing stuff with the hair. And they don't show it.
That's why the hair is giving him superpowers instead of just killing him like it did the other people.
Yeah, and he's doing stuff with it, and he's being nice to it, and he's got it on his tongue because he's licking it somewhere. So
yeah,
like he's being gross.
Maybe that is what they're insinuating, that he was giving it a little, you know, and his hair's on the tongue, and that's why it's showing him favor. I don't know. She calls him a pervert, and it's like, finally, someone said what we were all thinking. But that's too far. he gets very offended by being called a pervert. And he cuts some of Mammy's hair and it bleeds. And he's kind of like enthused by that. There's a lot happening right now. The original hair ghost, like, just for a second, like its corpse like pops up and makes the hair grow out of him everywhere. And then he gets like super horny, like crazy horny. And he's like, oh my God, what is happening? It hurts so bad. It's the most, exquisite ecstasy. It's very Hellraiser-y with hair.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is every time Pinhead thinks he's doing something to somebody. He's like, I'm going to make you feel the most exquisite pain. But it's not exquisite. It's just pain, and they hate it. But this guy, he gets the hair pain and he loves it because he always wanted to just have hair growing out of everything everywhere. And he's super into it. So like he's the perfect kind of Hellraiser torture candidate. If he came back, he would come back as a hair Cenobite.
Yeah. I just read The Stand, Stephen King's The Stand.
Sure.
And I don't know if you've ever read it, but there's a character in there. There's a character in there called Trash Can Man. And Trash Can Man is to fire what Yazumaki is to hair. It's just like he gets horny by hair. Like he gets horny by fire. Like fire is his only pleasure in life. Anyway, he like chases after them, after his big long like hair tongue has been like pulled out. He's running after them, but the hair ghost puts up like hair razor wire, I guess.
Yes.
And he runs through it and it cuts him into like layers. So like his feet are still walking. They're severed, but they're still walking. Still like kind of clomping along. Then his hair and his like head with the long tongue. And then his weird, like little, I guess he's wearing like this kind of gnome hat like this whole time. And then the hat falls on top. So like the three of the little sliced up layers of him fall on top of the shoes. And then the shoes are just like clomping along. So you see like the shoes are clomping along. Then like his like tongue, and then like his hair and his eyes, I think, are in there, but I can't remember. And then the hat. It gets really, really silly, and it's still walking around, right?
Yeah.
It's honestly for like, I would say probably 20 seconds of this little stacked up chunks of him clomping around while Silent Night plays.
Yeah.
And I was just like, boy, whatever the opposite of sticking the landing is, they went for it. Like they were just like, okay, here's how we could stick the landing here, but instead we're doing a belly flopper on purpose. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely just purposefully just tanking it for whatever reason. I don't know why. And maybe it's just like a reminder to, because at this point, I don't know, you find yourself getting invested in this film despite the premise of it being a hair ghost. So because everything is pretty good. Like it's decently well acted. The drama outside of the hair stuff with like the abused daughter is like, it's good, even though it drags and is long. So like, yeah, you get invested into it. And then this ending just snaps you right out of it as the villain gets Yosemite Sam'd. Like it's a total Yosemite Sam gag when you see Yosemite Sam's big hat and his mustache and his feet after Bugs Bunny hits him over the head with something heavy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's exactly what it is. It looks like he got smacked with like the mallet from the fair that you hit and shoots up and rings the bell. Someone whacked him in the head with a mallet, and that's what it looks like. So, I mean, this is what I meant is like this movie really was remarkably well done for one of the most asinine premises ever until the last like 2-3 minutes. And then it just nosedives on purpose. I mean, It's clearly on purpose. It just takes a complete tonal shift and nosedives right into the ground. Yeah, because then like the bell rings and all the hair in the place like retracts back into the original hair ghost corpse. And like Yuko and Mammy are safe at this point. And the corpse is now like not all gross and decomposing. It just looks like it's sleeping, just like a happy woman sleeping. And then Yuko and Mammy are like sitting on the beach, and they still like they go to this last couple minutes to explain that they still love hair despite all the hair related mishaps that they've went through here. And then Yuko decides to adopt her in the end. So it's I mean, the climactic point is really the Looney Tunes shit. And it's such an interesting decision because not only did it go total cartoon, why did killing the guy that you've essentially right, if you're a hair ghost, put yourself in the shoes of a hair ghost. You wanted to get all your little hair business out there, right? Into the world because you're wreaking, revenge, you're looking for revenge or whatever. And all along, the revenge you were looking for was of the guy who was like taking care of you.
Yeah.
Like, why did him dying release it and put the ghost at peace?
Yeah, so I think it's maybe like the ghost is giving up its own revenge because so Yamasaki cuts the hair of the kid and he sees it bleeds and he doesn't know that it's the extensions that he sold to them. He thinks her hair is so special that it bleeds on its own. He doesn't know the ghost hair's extensions are in it. And so that turns him on and turns him super extra pervert. And that gives the ghost flashbacks to her own death because she sees the same kind of like pervert grin that the organ harvesters had that he does. And so
yes, they do. They flashback specifically on the grin of the guy with the mask on or whatever.
Yeah. So I think the ghost kind of realizes that she is just propagating, by working with Yamazaki in this way, she's propagating what happened to her. And so it's not the same as revenge because she's not taking revenge on people who hurt people like she had, like the earlier kills, like she killed the customer who was rude to Yuko. She killed the sister and the degen. So like she killed people who were bad and hurtful, but now she's in a position where like, oh, she's actually helping somebody who hurts. And so that's the reason why she kills Yamazaki and then takes her hair back in. I still think she's probably a booby trap. You have to bury her properly because at any time she might come back and start doing hair ghost stuff. You gotta treat her right.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do the like encase in cement, like the stainless steel, like titanium locked coffin buried in cement type situation.
Right.
Give her the old vampire treatment, but
sink it in the ocean.
Yeah. Yeah. I forgot about the whole like flashback to the smile and comparing the smile thing. So yeah, that's absolutely right. I'm still a little confused by why that put her at peace, because it's not like she just went dormant and just went back and sucked all the hair in. She was like pristine, didn't even look like a corpse anymore. She just looked like she was sleeping, and she got all the color back in her face, and her hair grew back in its like normal state, and it almost looked like they were like, fuck, we have 2 more days to finish this movie, wrap it up. But I mean,
if they're gonna do fucking Yosemite Sam gag, then why not just that's the thing, everything ends on such a high note because the hair ghost is at peace. Yuko is not turned off by hair. She takes like the anime protagonist route of like no, I'm even more enthused to do my best. And then,
she does.
And
So
then
nauseous.
she adopts the kid that she technically didn't want in the first place, because we remember that she had an abortion, but now she's ready to have a child, and now she's also going to be the best at hair. So it's just like, it's all ups to end the film.
Yeah. It would have been better if she would like throw her scissors into the ocean. She's like, that's enough fucking hair for me. I'm going to, I'm going to get a bartending job or whatever.
Yeah,
Like that would have been
like,
way, way better.
Yeah, she's going to go be a barista. It's like, it's coffee time.
And then the sequel is fucking murderous coffee beans. Anyway, guys, that was Exte : hair extensions from 2007. Yeah. Depending on how we vote for this September Showdown episode, we might be doing some more J-horror, and I hope we are. That'll be my vote.
Too.
But J-horror, Child's Play, best of the Child's Play franchise, and occult horror, which would also be fun because we go in a lot of different directions. If that one wins, we are going to have to set some guardrails in some capacity there. Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Anything else, Steve? Anything else we should call out before we wrap this sumbitch and minisode up?
What was with all the random ass cat shots with the cat with the bell on its collar? That's the one that doesn't fit with me.
Yeah, I forgot about the cat with the bell. Yeah, I thought there was going to be more about the cat, with the bell. That's why when the bell thing just ended up being the bell on the Christmas tree or whatever, I was like, who the fuck thought that up? Like, what? That didn't need to be in there.
I liked it. It was a good flashback that did the best of show don't tell, because it showed you all the trauma that happened and why Silent Night and the bell were attached. So yeah, I don't know. I liked it. It's fine. I just don't get the cat. And also I wanted a cat that had the hair extensions, and it became like a cat hair monster. That would have been. I
like that. I'm
fun.
Always from pro more cats in the movie, but I would like to see a sequel that is part Uninvited, part Son of Mask, but it's cat of hair. It's the hair extensions with the cat. The cat's got hair extensions.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. And we give the cat really long flowing hair extensions, and a little tiny cat comes out of its mouth and it has hair extensions too. That's what I want to see. Just like Uninvited.
And then by the end, it turns into critters too, and you get a big cat ball. It's a hairball.
Big cat ball. It's a big hairball. Oh, this movie writes itself. All right, boys and ghouls. We're going to go work on this screenplay for the Halloween is Forever crew. I'm Brian.
And I'm Steve.
All right, see you later. Bye.